the black budget. Top five agencies by spending: Christians in Action, no such agency; NRO, National Geospatial, otherwise known as NEMA, and the General Defense Intelligence Program, which is a new one, relatively speaking. That formed shortly after I got out.
Well, the geospatial one, that grew 108%.
Oh yeah. They had almost no budget at all when I was in.
Yeah.
And then right around 2000, they reflagged as NGIS in 1999. I was pulling data. I still have a couple of discs of data from them, like today, now, at the house, that are just so old that they're unclassified and useless because nobody can read that kind of data anymore.
I don't even want to know about it. But 56% for the SIA.
Yeah.
They literally added 56% to their goddamn budget.
Yeah.
Where is this money going to, and who's actually auditing this?
It is, as we all know now, going to enriching people. I am pretty convinced that Christians in Action at the highest levels is basically just a mafia now. I think it is basically just a mafia. I don't think it acts on behalf of anybody but itself.
Nope.
I think it acts as an enforcement arm for the element of the federal government that is now just a mafia.
Well, do you remember during the Clinton term, they actually outed a couple CIA individuals?
They outed a couple of agents.
Yeah.
That is a political convenience.
Well, first of all, that's a big no. You don't go revealing your assets while they're in play.
Correct.
After they're retired or whatever, that's one thing.
Correct.
But when they are exposed,
yep,
at the complete mercy of foreign governments, and then you start dropping names to get these people fucked up, that is a problem.
24 years ago, a certain individual in the federal government that is now deceased, who may or may not be named Madeline Albright, was in discussions in Korea with elements of North Korea, and in order to puff her own hairdo and ego, she made a couple of comments that could only have come from a certain set of data. Now, the program that she outed had been active for 50 years. And when she did that, the program went completely dark within 18 hours, and at least 8 people that I know of just disappeared. They ceased to exist. These people in the State Department and the federal government that have created this external mafia that pretends to be our government don't care about you.
No, they don't.
They will throw you under the bus or have you killed without blinking
an eye
at all.
Well, they got rid of Kennedy. He got arranged for one hell of a haircut.
I love how that came out and everybody, it's right there. It says CIA and Mossad did it.
Yep.
And nothing has been done about the assassination of a president. I thought there was no statute of limitation on murder.
There isn't. There you go.
Funny thing that.
It's funny because that came out. I actually remember hearing that come out.
Yeah.
But it was the population, the American population was just so inundated with story after story, event after event. They were just oversaturated with bullshit.
That's why they released it the way that they did when they did.
And they've been doing that for a while. They literally have been slow rolling the truth so nobody notices it. Yes. And they push the lies out in front to distract you. That is magician shit.
It is,
and they're doing it on the daily to you.
It is an elaborate system of gaslighting. It is a favorite technique of the PSYOP guys from Christians in Action. And I believe I've discussed it on the show before. It's called the Alice in Wonderland technique. And what it is they usually do this to one guy that they're holding or a couple of guys. They make your life so bizarre and so weird and pretend that everything is normal until you start to go along with their shit, hoping for a glimpse of normality and reality. Does that sound familiar? All of a sudden, Girls are cutting their breasts off to become boys. Boys are cutting their penises off to become girls.
Mhm.
And that's totally normal. It's always been normal. What's wrong with you, you strange bigot person?
Yeah, istophobe igotist.
I am an istophobic igotist. I
Yeah.
am very.
I'll take all the names. I don't care. I'm just telling you the truth. And if my reward is to be labeled with some stupid name, then so be it.
Bring
Yep.
it on. I'm done. I'm done worrying about that anymore.
Yeah, me
Call me
too.
whatever you like.
Whenever the left comes up with their new hate word to describe people, like just give me the bigot badge, let me put it on my sash, let me
Well,
go about my day.
It is hand in hand. It's the ugly twin sister of the current panic.
Mhm.
It's the current hate.
But also, like, you look at these alphabet agencies here,
Yeah.
you see that they have their budgets are growing, quite astonishingly.
Yeah.
And I know the CIA and the FBI and maybe NSA have done experiments or studies on our soil that have negatively impacted our citizens, and fuck all was done about it.
I
If
can
that
actually
doesn't scream they don't give a fuck about you, I don't know what does.
Okay.
I can actually think of a recent event that perspired with another event. For those that don't know, a certain airman
Hmm.
went and
Set himself on fire.
Airman immolation.
let's just say he had a
He immolated.
self roasting.
Yeah, I saw that video. That was pretty sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty sad. But information came out that says that he supported Stop Cop City, tried to become part of Antifa and all this other leftist leaning socialist bullshit. Well, let's just say some people that supported his decision and defended his decision because that's what heroes do. They literally had a rally where one guy got on the microphone, of course, supporting Palestine and all this other stuff, saying this lefty protesting is not working anymore. We need to actually go out and get guns. We need to flip shit up. We need to fucking do shit.
He's
Now,
calling it Bolshevik revolution.
those are his words, not mine.
Yep.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, like you said, Steve, that's a Bolshevik revolution. But isn't that also kind of a coup style or a military coup?
That is a call for military action against the United States using force of arms, and that falls under sedition. You have not yet reached treason.
But don't worry about it. The FBI and the CIA and the ATF, they'll get to that guy as soon as they're done rounding up all the people that happen to wander in on January 6th.
Or hell, if
Yeah.
they even were on the sidewalk out front, they're starting to arrest those people too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Now, being as I used to work for no such agency, I'm going to say this about that organization. When I was in, and it's probably not true anymore, the ground guys, like in many cases, we were all honest about what we were doing and actually believed in what we were doing and really thought that we were supporting the mission of the country.
Correct.
Now, NSA is a passive intelligence agency, which is to say they don't send guys into the field. The movies where you've got the NSA, like my favorite is Triple X,
I hate that show.
where that's portrayed as NSA. We
Yeah.
watched that as, again, comedy because that's the silliest thing I've ever seen in my fucking life. Hands down, that was when they said, I'm from NSA. We were like, oh, Jesus.
Here we go.
Look,
yeah.
Okay, here's why you're not from NSA, okay? You don't have a bad haircut. You aren't wearing thick glasses with tape. Your shirt is tucked in. You're not wearing a pocket protector, and your fingers are not stained with Cheetos. You're not NSA, okay?
Well, and your testosterone levels are
Way
normal
too
or
high.
above normal.
Now, CSS, the arm of NSA that is military, and Pop talked about this last week, where you get stuck doing a job where you're supposed to be making $100,000 a year, but you're getting paid staff sergeant pay instead. That's the
28K a year.
Right. That's the military arm, and that just does military stuff. And I never once saw any of that directed in CONUS, inside the continental United States. But it's still passive collection. There's no such thing as an armed aggressive branch of no such agency.
Well, I do know that once you go out of the country, especially during the counter drug years,
Yeah.
you go down to South America. Back then, you are going to rub elbows with the DEA.
Yes.
You are probably going to rub elbows with the CIA as well.
But you definitely are.
And there may or may not be present an NSA individual as well. That does happen.
I know that you're going to run into CIA and DEA because I was down there.
Yeah, I mean,
NSA.
they're every,
So-
you can't even swing a dead cat without hitting.
No, there's feds everywhere.
I don't know how it is today. I'm just talking about 1994 and before.
This was very early 2000s for me.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on in that time of or down south.
Yeah, you can swing a
2005.
dead cat without hitting something with 3 letters on its collar.
Yeah.
That is absolutely true. But these black budgets again are used to do what we were talking about with the North Africa thing, where they'll stir up indigenous populations to hate the United States of America so that we get all patriotic and want to fight these guys that hate us, which feeds the industrial complex.
Well, and
which
another thing,
increases these guys' budgets.
if it's our tax dollars, we should know where it's being spent.
They're
I
telling
don't.
us.
I have no idea how we actually ever got behind the idea that it is okay to have a black budget, which nobody can really look in to see where that money's going. That is an invitation to the lottery ticket of insanity, right there.
Watch this shit.
Are you going to pull it up? Yeah. What are you doing?
Because your government not only has these black budgets,
Uh-huh.
but here's all of the countries that we give your tax dollars to. I don't recall voting for this, and I don't know of a single law that allows our government to give Colombia $677 million or to give Algeria $4,724 million. We know why that's there.
And we're even giving money to Russia.
We give Russia 1.7, which is really nothing. That's some sort of payoff there.
What is that? A very deep blue spot there, though, Steve.
But Ukraine, it's Ukraine, Jimmy Bones. Can you read that number?
I cannot. You're gonna have to zoom in on that one for me.
Anywhere between
12,432,081,638 you have obligated to pay Ukraine for what reason?
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, we've already given them like another 100, billion on top of that.
By the way, we're giving Starvin Marvin in Ethiopia $2 billion.
Yeah, I'm so sick and tired of this. This needs to stop.
Yeah. Your money is just basically being exported. This is why you were getting inflation. This is one of the big reasons why you're getting inflation. This is one of the big reasons why everything is so damn expensive now, because our money is worth nothing because it's just being shipped overseas. And this is one of the things they use to gaslight you and control you and keep you in fear as well. Gas prices fluctuating. I've seen them fluctuate 70 cents in a day in the last couple of years.
Yep,
I don't
I can
remember that much. I remember 50 cents.
Yeah.
I can attest to that. Let's see. It was probably last month. Gas was actually on the decline. It was $2.78 at the truck stop that I drive by to go to work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drive back home to go to lunch. $3.08.
Wow.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah, it's pretty common for gas to jump 20 to 30 cents depending on how shit's going in my area.
Here is the thing. They'll blame it on this conflict and that conflict and this embargo over here. Here's the real deal. We have enough fuel to run this country without any problem at all. These fluctuating prices have one purpose: to keep you in fear, to keep you in check, to keep you under control. That is the only purpose for these price fluctuations and these price hikes. It's to keep you docile and fearful.
Yes. Listen, man. This is bad. I mean, that's why we're talking about it.
Yep. But going back to the Ukraine thing and the CIA black budgets and whatnot, if you've been paying attention, there's been evidence allegedly that the CIA is behind the regime change that put Zelensky into power.
I know they are.
Yeah, I would not doubt that at all.
Yeah, and it's, of course, then we have the biolabs stories in Ukraine. Well, I mean, it's like there's so many dots to connect. We just cannot get it fully connected in order to see who's pulling the strings behind all this shit, making our lives miserable.
Confidence, Jimmy,
And-
in what you're saying, that if I sat down and did that thing that I do with data, I
Yep.
could prove that the CIA put Zelensky into power. That is an absolute.
Yep.
And
I mean,
this-
he did an interview with MSN 13 BS where the dude was literally coked out of his mind.
Oh, I
You
saw
can tell-
that. Yeah.
You could tell just by his body postures and his constant. I'm like,
Yeah.
So this dude was an actor, may or may not be gay, and he was hired to play president in a movie. Now he is president.
My guess is he's gay for pay.
Gay for pay. Nice.
He definitely takes a the peg D for a certain amount of money or an 8 ball.
Terrifying side
never
note,
know.
a lot of male porn stars do that because they make so little as just regular old porn stars. They will go gay for pay.
All right, let's move on.
Moving on, it's just getting weird over
It's
here.
getting weird.
This just got weird.
All right, so we got what the military defense budget from 60 to 2024.
Now, this here is also part of the military industrial complex. These guys get their bills voted through. Halliburton, Grumman, Khaki, all of these companies that are participating in the military industrial complex, they'll put bills in front of their favorite senators to get extra money put in to the defense budget so they can specifically go buy the stuff that the military industrial complex is making.
Correct.
That's how they get funded.
Well,
And then
that's one way.
That's one of the it's one way. Then their pet senator gets paid later on, or gets a sweet deal, or gets a $500,000 a year job to show up to one board meeting.
Or he gets paid a couple $1 million to speak at a podium for 15 minutes.
Correct.
I.e. Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
53 dead bodies. What?
I know.
So here's the thing. Our GDP as a nation has been taking a hit, and the budget, the military budget, you can see here, the bottom is the percentage of GDP.
Yep.
Right around Vietnam, 10% of our budget went into the military industrial complex. You come over here.
No, but go to like 2000-ish is when 9/11 happened.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to that moment.
And you'll see how the spending
right
went
there
through the roof.
Now it skyrockets.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll see here from 1960 to 1980, you'll watch our GDP go down, basically cut by half because a lot of our jobs were sent overseas.
This is the tank period right here. This is the huge depression that we had.
Correct. It picked up a little bit, but it didn't ever really get to where it used to be because of like the textiles, the steel industry overseas. A lot of our industries that used to pump up our GDP were quietly boxed up, sent overseas in via the NAFTA agreement or what have you.
Yep.
They basically gutted our country, and we are limping along somewhere between 3 and 4% GDP now.
Yeah. Pennsylvania used to be coal, steel, and textiles, famous for textiles. They started exporting textiles when we first became a country.
In the 1700s.
The 1700s.
Mm-hmm.
My darling wife, who loves to sew, was looking for fabric recently. She started really sewing, going for making clothes again. And she said she can't find anything that's not made overseas. Everything's Vietnam.
Correct.
Bangladesh, China. There's no fabric made in the United States anymore. They've taken all of that industry away from us. What they do is take our raw materials.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another form of gaslighting. When we were kids, what was probably the cheapest meat in the supermarket?
Oh, heck. A hamburger?
Here in Michigan. Fish.
Oh, I never ate fish as a child.
Oh, you don't eat fish?
I hate fish.
What's wrong with you?
I have to be at a certain hunger level to enjoy a good fish.
I love fish.
It-
I eat a lot of fish.
I got you.
It gives Pop some bad nightmares from his hog slaying days.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Oh, there we go.
Now I see where we are
There,
now.
yeah.
I see where we're picking on Pop now. Yeah, I
Hey,
see
Jimmy,
it.
why don't you slay the hog real quick?
In the cornfield. All right. So anyway, explain this. Like our GDP has been cut in half, but our defense funding has grown 8 to 9-fold. Just let that sink in. During Vietnam, we were having a fucking war going on. And now we really don't have a war going on, but we're still pumping an insane amount of money into the,
This
military
goes
industrial complex.
to 2021.
Mhm.
We effectively stopped fighting the quote unquote war on terror. We effectively stopped fighting when? About 2017 is when we stopped any really big actions that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And then we pulled out of Afghanistan in
And
21.
Somewhere between 2021, something like that.
Yep.
Right around there.
August of 21, I believe.
Yeah, switched it off like a light switch. Now, here's something that I noticed the other day, and this is a total sidebar, but I noticed that the Muslim terror attacks in the United States or against U.S. assets was turned off like a light switch, almost as if the State Department went, dink.
Yeah, that's enough of that.
Creepy. Look, take a look. When's the last time we had anything remotely like an attack like that?
Well, I mean, we have like mass shooters now.
But that's the new thing.
That's the new
That's
thing.
the current panic.
Yep.
There you go.
And they're using that panic to take your guns away because they want to do things to you that you just might want to use a gun for.
Exactly. And that, I would say, pretty conclusively demonstrates how they slide these panics in front of you and you never even realize that they're there until you go, wait a minute. Wait, why am I suddenly unable to get this item anymore? Where did this war go? What happened to this war? Didn't we just announce that the CIA and the Mossad killed Kennedy? How come these people are in jail, but these people aren't? They're gaslighting you constantly.
Correct.
That is the Alice in Wonderland technique. What they're doing is making you so stressed and telling you that everything is okay while they're doing it, so that eventually your psyche will break and you will say, okay, I've had enough. I'll do whatever you want.
Seems legit.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.